We will start this live.
All right.
And go. Welcome, everybody. Today's program is going to be about the Charles Avery interview on the 5th and 6th, his statements giving, and then his car ride to the medical center to give his DNA and fingerprints. I'm joined today by Big Jeff, Dr. Silkman, and Justin Denny. How are you guys doing?
Okay, I'm doing great, Bill Billy. I think I'm finding the video series very interesting to go back through some of the original evidence and really get our arms around, how law enforcement was taking every opportunity they could to screw the Avery family. So this is, it's revealing to go back because sometimes you lose focus on some of this um, original information when it was freshest in people's minds. So it's really good to go back and think about this.
All right.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Well, we'll start off with what happened in Marinette County. November 5th, they find the RAV4 on the Avery property after Earl let Pam Magod and her daughter into the property. Within 20 minutes, she went right to the car and found it. They then dispatched Marinette County to go to the Crivets and talk to the Avery family there. They talked to Al. They talked to Dolores. They talked to Charles. They talked to Stephen on the 5th. Then on the 6th, they pull over Brian Dassey and Brenda Dassey when they're going to get some soda from the local grocery store. They don't make it too far down Highline Road when they get pulled over. They then impound Stephen's car. They interview Brendan Dassey. They talk to Brian Dassey, but I have yet to see any report of that. They then take the boys back to Crivets, and then O'Neill interviews Stephen Avery another time on the 6th. And by what Brendan Dassey was tricked into saying, because he changed his statement, how many times did they interview?
3.
But
hard to count.
he sticks to his story at the end, though. He says, I got off the bus, I went home, I played video games, that was it.
Yep.
But we'll get into Chuck's statement.
Okay, you want me to start reading, Bill Billy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the handwritten statement of Chuck Avery. I'll forget about the beginning stuff. I am the owner of Avery's Auto Salvage in Two Rivers, Wisconsin. I was at the salvage yard the day the girl came to take the picture of the Dodge minivan. Stephen went down to the trailer house that he is staying in with the girl. I don't know the girl's name, but she is the one who normally came to take pictures. I don't know if Stephen was in the girl's vehicle or if he took his own. Stephen was gone for about 10 minutes, and I did not see the girl after they went to take the pictures or before. I asked Stephen where he went, and he told me to take pictures. He told me to take pictures with the girl to the place in. He told me he went to take pictures with the girl to place in a magazine to sell the van. Stephen told me that the girl left. Just Steve, my brother Earl, and I were at the salvage yard that day. Charles Avery. Okay, and then the next statement is on the 5th. On Thursday, 11/3/05, around 6:30 p.m., Stephen, Steve, I can't quite read that. Steve and I were going to Menards, and Stephen saw taillights by the trailer that he is staying in. I turned around on Jambo Creek Road, and we went back and pulled into my sister's driveway, which is pretty much Stephen's driveway if you know the layout. I did not see the taillights. Stephen checked around by his trailer, but didn't find anything. I stayed by my sister's house. If there was a vehicle back there, the only road out was past my sister Barbara's house. A vehicle could get out by driving across the field. On Friday, 11/4/05, when I was leaving to come up to the cabin in Marinette County, I saw the headlights behind my house on Avery Road. I called Stephen and asked him to check it out. Stephen called me back and said he didn't find anything. I made a map of my property on a sketch/diagram that Sergeant Sievert gave me. I called Stephen at 7:20 p.m. and Stephen called me back at 7:25 p.m. These times are from my cell phone. Again, signed Charles Avery.
And then here's the map he drew.
Right. Yep. So am I going on to page 3? This is a statement from the 6th.
Yep.
And he's is this a different officer that interviewed him? Is this why he had to make yet another statement?
Yes.
Sievert again. Okay. I opened the business. Oh, this is regarding a different time. I opened the business on 8 a.m. on
Monday.
On Monday. Steve, Earl, and I were there. I have a tablet to keep track of hours I worked. The tablet is kept at my mom's house. So Steve works in the shop. Yeah, Steve works in the shop, stripping
cars
back, and
Earl and I are in and out.
Earl and I are in and out. Wow. Yeah. Anybody got a CNI dog out there? If you got a CNI dog, please send it over to me. I would have to check the logbook on what hours Steve and Earl worked that day. But normally we work 8 to 5 during the week, and Saturdays 8 to 12. On Monday, October 31st, I'm pretty sure I was home. I lived by myself. Nobody came over or called. On Monday afternoon, I remember working with Steve in the afternoon. Last night, after I talked with Sergeant Sievert, I asked Steve when he left on Monday. I'm pretty sure Earl worked all day and was in and out. We all operate the front end loader. Earl normally operates the crusher. I think Earl.
You got me.
I think Earl showed Steve how to operate the crusher. I think Steve has run the crusher once or twice. Now, I've seen pictures of the crusher, and it's only got 3 buttons. I think the 3 buttons say stop. Start, pause, and stop. I don't know that the crusher is that hard to operate. Not that many buttons on it. Okay, page 2 of 3. I log in all the vehicles that come into the lot. The crushed vehicles are sold to Mashker out of Manitowoc. What's that?
Mashkin.
Mashkin out of Manitowoc. Norbs out of Denmark. Norbs, but Bowles
hauls the vehicles that they crushed.
The vehicles that we crushed. His handwriting is not that bad. Just my ability to read is just terrible. On Thursday, Steve and I went to Menards in Manitowoc, and we picked up trusses and insulation and a few odds and ends at 6:30 p.m. We got back about 9:30 to 10 p.m. Steve and I both went home. I left for the cabin at 7:20 p.m. On Friday. That's when I saw the headlights behind me and called Steve on his cell and provided Steve's cell number. My nephew, Brendan Dassey, rode up north with me. We took the flatbed wrecker to haul up the trusses and the insulation. On Friday, when I left, Steve was at home. My mom was home because they were going up in the morning. I don't know if my sister was home during the week, Monday through Friday. I did not hear any gunshots. If there were any shots fired on my property, I would have heard them. Family and friends used my pit to sight their guns. I have no idea how the girls car got in my salvage yard. A front end loader would be needed to put a car in the
In the row where it's found.
oh yeah, in the row. Even a tow truck would have had a hard time. The front end loader is kept in the red building or the blue building, and the keys are left in it. The red and blue buildings are locked at night. Stephen has a key for the blue building only. Earl and I have keys for both of the buildings. The front end loader has lights, but they don't work. One or two nights last week, the front end loader was left outside. And CA Charles Avery.
All right. The most key thing I see about this, all right, Stephen Avery gets off the phone at 5:46 p.m. when he's talking to Jody at his mother's house. And if they're leaving at 6:30, that means Colborne was there before 6:30.
Yes, it does.
And that's a huge problem because they claim that they didn't get there till after 7.
Yeah. One thing I pick up on about this is there's just a continuing discrepancy as to whether or not Stephen came back to work on a Monday afternoon. So there's some confusion, and that confusion I think exists between Chuck, between Robert Fabian, between Earl. Robert Fabian says, that she never came back. Stephen says he never went back to work. So there is some confusion there, and I don't think anybody's necessarily lying.
Well, Fabian also states when he shows up that he couldn't find Earl, and he talked to Chuck, and Chuck told him that Earl was in the loader.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can see what Chuck says, that he states that he was actually working with Steve in the afternoon. That can't be right.
Yeah.
Unless he's thinking about a different day.
Different day.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yep.
Just not memorable to him because one day is probably just like every other day.
Well, yeah, all these guys were just living normal day in, day out kind of life, not expecting this day to be
any different.
Eventful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we talk to you about anything, we have to.
We're going to this interview.
Because you're not free to go right now until we get this all over with. And we probably will ask you a few questions, and it's up to you if you want to answer. But let's go through the rights. Tony will read the rights while start driving. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, Charles. What's your first name? Is Charles? Correct. Middle initial? E. Avery. A-V-R-Y. What's your date of birth, Charles? 7/3/64. And today's November 9th. Let him put his bill. 2005, right? And it's 1:33 a.m. Charles, you had your rights read to you before? Charles? I don't remember. Okay. Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court of law. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before questioning and to have a lawyer present with you while you're under questions. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, won't be appointed to represent you at public expense in court regarding any question if you so wish. Do you understand these rights are read to you, Charles? Yes. Understand these rights are going to talk to us? Depends on the question. Okay. But you understand your rights, right? All right.
Bill, I don't recall.
What?
I don't recall them reading Brendan his rights on that tape.
No, They didn't.
So is that a level of seriousness that they interviewed Chuck with because they, or did they figure maybe Chuck was a little more savvy than the 16-year-old, or?
No, I think with Jeff, the issue here was that they were actually taking Chuck to get his fingerprints, DNA, and also photography to look at his body. So they were taking him actually to the Aurora Hospital. So it's up the ante a little bit. It's much more serious. I think that's why they read him his rights.
Very good. That's a good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Reggie, your rights. Here's a pen. And of course, you remember myself, Detective O'Neill from Marinette County Sheriff's Department, and Agent Kim Skronsky from the Department of Criminal Investigations. Yes. Okay.
What's the date today? 11/9.
9.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, where'd this wind come from, Chuck?
Outside.
It's pretty windy.
We talked to you a couple times over the weekend about the events of last Monday. Has anything in there becoming clear on what happened, what you did, what specifically Stephen did? To my knowledge, I made the reports. Everything was good to that side. It's whatever's on my reports. I mean, statement or whatever you want to call it. Sure. Let me ask you this. Do you remember getting a call from him about 5 o'clock? 6 o'clock, something around there? 5, 6 o'clock. Probably closer to 6. What day? Monday.
Put down a couple of
No.
Okay. I think it was just a little before 6 he called you. And I thought he told us that he was having dinner over at your mom's.
That could be a possibility.
Would he call saying, hey, come on over, or are you going to go over to mom's or something like that?
Well, one day during the week, I was supposed to come over and already made dinner at home.
You had
And
already...
supper.
Okay, supper, okay. Typically, what time is supper at mom's when she's making it?
Usually a little bit after 5.
Is it ever as late as 6 o'clock? This is during the week. Maybe on weekends it's different. But...
Well, between 5 and 6, yes.
So any time in there it could have been.
Yeah. But I would say closer to 5, I would say.
Think back about... Well, let me ask you this. Did you have dinner with your mom at any night last week?
I think I did, yes.
Do you know which night that was?
No, I don't.
Do you remember Monday when he left work sometime between 11?
They're concerned about Monday and Tuesday. No other days of the week, just Monday and Tuesday.
11 and 12.
Yeah.
And I think he reported to you he had that woman coming from the magazine to take a photo of the van. You remember that? Him stating that.
No comment at this time. Because by my statement, I think that was wrong, so.
Well, do you want to...
They were talking
Yep.
about his statement, how he wrote that Stephen was only gone for maybe a half hour. He was just confirming that he wrote that wrong. It's not correct.
change it, you're free to do that. We just want the most accurate description of the events of that day. That's all we're after.
I know that. But just do what you got to do, and with me or whatever. I know you picked up Steven already.
Right.
Charles, is there anything that you told us that wasn't true up until this point?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so you're not aware of anything that you want to change at this time? That you told us that may not be true? And think about that, Charles.
He worked 11 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure what day it was.
Okay. And did he come back after that?
Yes, it was back, yeah.
Sometime in the
But
afternoon.
I don't know what time he came back.
Okay. At any time last week did he operate your front end loader forklift?
He could have, he couldn't have. I don't know.
He drives it periodically.
Yes, he does.
Okay, just as you do, just as Earl does.
That's right.
Okay. What
We all
about
do.
what about the skid steer? Could he have driven that last week?
He drives them all.
Okay. Do you know if he crushed any cars last week?
That I know for a fact we didn't.
You did. Okay. And you went
The
up.
cars we got there right now, they were crushed. They were 2 weeks before.
Okay. What about the blue one that's in the crusher?
I don't know.
Okay. You went up to Marinette County on Thursday night.
Friday.
Friday morning.
Friday night.
Friday night.
When I saw the headlights in front of me. It's down on my statement. It should be anyway. Thursday night, that's when we saw the tail. Steven saw the tail lights down by him.
That was when you guys were on your way to Menards.
Correct.
Thursday. Friday is when you saw the headlights
Over by me.
over by your house. Okay.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Yes. Yes? Yes, I do, but I can't talk right at the present time. Yes, they did. What, half an hour ago? Calumet? I don't know. No, I was not. By his brother's house. Yes, and I'm in one of the detective's cars right now. Yes. Not at the present, no. Yes. Yeah. Two Rivers. Hospital DNA. Right? No. I can't talk right now, actually. So, oh yeah. You know that black van down there, which you got flagged off?
You know what he's referring to? You see in the flyover, there's a van parked in the
All
yard
taped off.
with taped off around it.
Yes.
He was driving it when it blew up, and that's where it ended up.
I was using that from the yard, for the yard,
Black van. Where's that located?
between in-town and Barbara's house.
Okay, right in the yard there? Okay.
Right in
By the shop?
Yes.
Okay.
Not in the shop,
But in that area, the fenced-in area?
on top, yes.
Okay.
I ran over a rim and it stopped running the second day I had it. It's in my logbook.
Okay.
You keep every car that you have down there in the logbook?
Yes, they should be.
So you pretty much know that impound, the yard, and everything, that's kind of like your baby, right?
Yeah.
You're pretty much in control of that?
What's in the impound right now is in none of our cars.
No, what I mean as far as the yard and everything else, that's your domain, isn't it?
Well, it's my living, yes.
Okay, how'd that car get down there?
What car?
Her car, without you knowing.
I don't know.
So
That's what you guys are there to find that out.
it's your lot.
Yeah, it's my lot. What if it was in your backyard?
Then I would know it was there.
Does someone else want to know?
Millbilly. Yeah, I just wanted to comment. Notice how all of a sudden O'Neill starts to become hostile with his direct questioning, and so he's actually having a go
And
at Chuck.
Chuck's about to say something very interesting. He states that anybody that he lets into their property, they have to walk through.
With being that is correct.
Saturday morning, Earl let two people drive into the property. He doesn't recall seeing them leave. And then Pam
Right.
shows up. Did they drive the Rav in that morning? It's a possibility. Don't know. But the lights that he's seen that night, most likely it was planted there because we got Siebert saying that he's seen a car driving in there too.
It's not that someone.
I got vehicles coming and going all during the night and everything else, like Barbara's Kisty. One goes to work at 11 o'clock, 4:11. I'm supposed to get up out of bed and everything else and check who's leaving and who's coming in.
So you don't know what happens in that yard?
During the day, yes.
Yeah.
I don't let no vehicles out in the yard. They gotta walk.
How about Earl? Is he?
He's gonna tell you the same thing.
Steve?
I would say yes.
Millbilly. Yeah, can I just make the comment? I think the reason why Chuck wants people to walk through the salvage yard is so that people don't steal parts and put them in their vehicles and then drive off with them. It's probably a safety.
Or so they
It's
don't.
probably a safety.
Or they don't run over something and destroy their vehicle like he did to that black van.
Yes.
He said it ran
Yes.
over a rim and it stopped running.
Yep.
Why would somebody put it down there and then try to cover it up?
Cover what up?
Her vehicle was covered with brush, with a hood from another car up against it, and fenders.
That I don't know.
Someone was trying to hide it, right?
I don't know.
What do you think?
How am I going to answer that when I don't know nothing?
Well, I'm not saying that you know, Charles. I'm saying the idea that someone's trying to conceal something. They don't want you to find it, right?
Yeah, if they don't want me to find it, yes.
Okay.
I got a crusher there. I could get rid of it if I wanted to.
Sure.
And it's not even my crusher.
Right.
But you guys still run it?
Yeah, we do run it.
Okay. So even though it's not your crusher, you can still run it.
That's right. So your point is?
What has to happen to a car before it's crushed?
Nothing.
You can just crush it as is. What about taking out the engine?
Nope.
Gas tank?
You would like them out? Yes.
Fluids drained?
Gas tank, battery, and tires. The rest could stay.
And that car's put down there, it's hid from your view until somebody can get a chance to do all that and then crush it. And where's all that done at usually? All that stuff removed. Do you do it down there or do you do it in the shop?
Do it in the shop.
Someone rolled that Toyota RAV4 into your shop and said, I'm crushing this, I need to take this stuff off. Wouldn't that look a little strange to you? Why would you crush a perfectly good car?
Well, like I told someone before, all my 95 and up goes behind the impound.
Right.
All the impound. Because that's where I got all my
Millbilly.
newer cars.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry for commenting, but don't you find it interesting how O'Neill is leading the witness, so to speak?
Yeah.
It's incredible that O'Neill wants a running narrative of what the boys would normally do if they're going to crush a car. So O'Neill's and Skalinsky are taking a mental note of, this is what they wanted to do. Yet, if Chuck had an attorney with him, there's no way that O'Neill will be asking those types of questions.
Right.
He's leading the witness.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, this car was in good shape, wasn't in an accident.
Someone, was it?
No, I'm telling you, it's in good shape. There's not a thing wrong with it. I'm just telling you, if that car's sitting in your shop and
There's a
someone's
big
working on it,
statement there.
to get it ready to crush. That would raise a little suspicion by you, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would, yeah.
Okay.
There's not a thing wrong with it.
Sure.
Hello? Yes, it is. That is correct, but I cannot talk right now at the present time. This morning. No. Well, I'm his brother, but you have to call me back about at least an hour. Yep, or early this afternoon. Okay. Yep, bye.
Keeps getting saved by phone calls. Keeps interrupting the investigators. Kinda funny.
You know that Earl Saturday, it was his weekend of work.
Yeah.
He let family members go down there and everything else.
Right.
And we were working with you guys right from the beginning.
But nobody went down there until Saturday. No law enforcement, no searchers went down there until Saturday.
Yeah, but we didn't know anything, till Saturday.
Right. You knew she was there Monday, talking to your brother and taking photos of the van. Right? That's what you knew up until Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. And that car is down there concealed from your view.
To a certain extent.
Right. And in order to work on it, to get it ready to crush, you can't be in the shop. Because it's got to be done without you knowing it. Because you would say, what the heck is going on?
Because the remote's in the end loader right now. Hello? I can't talk right now.
Can I make a comment here? You know, they keep on talking about how the RAV was concealed from view, but it was probably put in the most conspicuous spot in the yard that they could put it in. First, because it was down there where the old or antique cars were. Number one, and number two, you might make an argument that it was perhaps concealed from a flyover. But you know, as you come upon it, you have this giant RAV4 cover on the back of the wheel. So it's sticking out like a sore thumb. In a place where anybody who was familiar with that, and those anybody's meaning Chuck or Earl or Steven, would the second they saw it, you know, they would have immediately recognized it as out of place, and it had a giant RAV4 thing on it. So I mean, what are they talking about? Concealed? You know, so somebody, you know, if anything, that stuff being put on it makes it stand out more because it's the only car with stuff on it.
Yeah, and
So,
you notice they only covered up the rims because they're shiny. They will reflect light. They also covered up the rear tailgate because that will reflect light too, right? They wouldn't see it.
I never thought of that. That's very interesting.
And the other point about using the hood, Ken Kratz actually, I think it was Ken Kratz that said it in court. The reason why they used the hood was to conceal the wheels, because what the boys used to do is remove the wheels prior to crushing the vehicle. So that's why they put the hood next to the wheel to hide the rims, and also what Millbilly said about the reflection. So what Ken Kratz was trying to give the impression was that car was ready or getting ready to be crushed. And that's what O'Neill is questioning Chuck about. So what's the procedure if you're going to crush this vehicle? And of course, who works in the shop that strips the cars?
Steven.
Steven.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
I have another question. Wasn't her cousin?
David Beach
Come-
was there on the
Yeah.
4th. I don't know if they let him search the property, though, but he did talk to Steven. He allowed them to hang up a poster in the shop.
You mean Earl?
Yeah. No, he talked to Steven, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say who? I can't talk right now. I'm in a detective's car right now. Yes. No, to Rivers. Mm-hmm.
For not being able to talk, he sure talks a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
David 42.
That was it so far. Me?
Yeah, me too.
Agreed.
No. Yes. No. My daughter. No. Stephen. Yes, correct. Yes. Yeah. No. Well, yes and no. Not sure. I ain't got the paper in front of me. Yeah. Two Rivers. Calumet. Okay. Yep. Back.
Chuck, you said the remote's in the front end loader. What's that?
That works the.
Oh?
Yep.
What's it look like?
It's like a half a cigarette pack
Is it like a...
and long and narrow like.
Uh-huh. It's like a garage door opener?
Something like that, yeah.
What kind of shape's it in?
I don't know. It's yellow, I think, or cream. Hello? Yes, there is. No, I'm in Two Rivers right now in an unmarked car. I'm in Two Rivers. Yes. I don't know that. I'm in an unmarked car right now going to Two Rivers Hospital. Well, I'm going over by Earl's house later on. Earl, my brother. Melnick Road and Fisherville. Yeah, Fisherville Road and Melnick. MELLEK or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. No, that's out in... It's south of Larrabee. Yeah. It would be a Whitelaw address. Whitelaw address. Well, why don't you call me Whitelaw? Call me back in about an hour, yes. I can't talk right now. Huh? Well, you have to call around once. Dial 755-2257. Yes. I gotta let you go.
Is that remote wrapped in tape?
I don't know.
Is it busted up? Had to be held by together with tape or anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who put it in the front end loader?
Probably Earl.
That's just normally where you keep it when it's not used?
For now, yes. So Paul from Norbs would pick up the crusher. Hello? Yes? Yeah, I can't talk right now. No, I do not.
I thought I got a lot of phone calls.
Yes, it was. First one. First one, yes. No, I gotta let you go. I can't talk. Okay. Now, where are you going to be taking me later? Can you take me out by Earl?
Yeah. Do that.
And what does my son to have to do with this shit?
What's on?
That's it.
Oh, you go around, next one. Christopher.
I don't know. What do you mean?
They're picking on him. And I haven't seen him in, Christ, 2 to 3 weeks. I saw him once.
I saw him on TV give an interview. It's the first time I ever heard about him saying anything.
Yep, that's him.
Okay.
Am I going to lose another kid over this shit? Yeah, you're right.
Who's picking on him, Chuck?
Detectives.
The media or the police?
Big detectives, the police, or whatever.
Earl, someone dragged this stuff to your house.
Huh?
Someone dragged this problem to your house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't take that out on us.
Well, I'm just saying.
We
He ain't got nothing to do with this. He doesn't live there. He doesn't do nothing. He's having a little baby right now. She's just about due. Well, she is due, but I don't know.
What would you like us to do about it?
What do you mean? Let him alone.
Well, if it was your child that was missing, what would you not want us to do?
No, but what I'm
If it
saying,
was your child that was missing, Chuck, what would you not want us to do?
what I'm saying
What would you not
is,
want us to do, Chuck?
We've been working with
You
you
want us to
right
talk to
together right
everybody
from the
and
beginning.
everybody and get your baby home, right?
Well, of course.
All right, so what are you asking us to do, Chuck? What should we tell this family that you don't want us to do?
I think we're going in
Well,
here,
we ain't
right?
got nothing to do with it.
Are we
though.
going right in here?
Sure. I think you'd want us to do everything we possibly could, Chuck.
Yeah, but we ain't got nothing to
Okay.
do with it. Just because you
How many
brought
cars
up.
in your lot, Chuck?
Okay, I'm done.
They tried and tried. Thankfully for all them phone calls. Notice
Yeah, I think it was very
as soon as he hangs up, he leaves right off where he left off.
Yep. Yeah, and that was sort of just the beginning of what they tried to do with regard to turning the family against each other. They actively pursued the theory that it was a multi-person crime for a long time, just so they could kind of hold the sword of Damocles over, somebody's head, because we know it was two people that did this. So it was you're probably one of those people. So just the way that they're allowed to lie to people during these interrogations is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
O'Neill and I think Skolinski was in the vehicle as well.
Yep.
I think
He was.
they treated Chuck as a suspect, no question about that. And do you notice how it got personal, right, with his son Christopher, and that really set Chuck off big time when he said about what's my son got to do with it? You want me to lose another son? And that's when O'Neill came back at Chuck and said, okay, what do you want us to do about, the situation about a missing girl, so to speak? And Chuck told him categorically, we don't know nothing. We don't know how the vehicle got there. But it's pretty obvious that O'Neill and Skolinski were not buying that story. And O'Neill said a very important point. He said that they dragged the problem to your house, as in the vehicle is on your yard. Now you explain what that vehicle is doing there. So in other words, there was no innocent explanations possible for that vehicle to be on his salvage yard. And notice what O'Neill said. You're the boss of the salvage yard. You know all the vehicles that are on that property. What's this vehicle doing on your property? So O'Neill was actually having a go at the owner of the salvage yard, saying, well, you can't be a good boss if you don't know all the vehicles on your property.
Yeah, but
how crazy is that?
I don't think O'Neill grasps how big that area is and how many vehicles they had.
Nah.
Yeah. Was there 6,000, something like that?
Close to 4. Yeah, close to 4,000 vehicles at that time. But it was 40 acres and the lot was huge. But the intriguing thing I find, Millbilly, are the observations of Stephen of the tail lights and of Chuck of the headlights. That's a pretty strong hint that something was happening in the salvage yard at those times. And the boys couldn't find anything, so something went on. Either it was put it this way, there should have been no headlights behind Chucky's place, right? Because he was leaving for Crivets. There shouldn't have been anyone down there. And notice where he saw those headlights is where the crusher was. That right behind him. If you look at the map, that's where the crusher was.
Yep.
And O'Neill kept on quizzing Chuck. Okay, who operates the end loader? Who operates the skid steer? Who operates the crusher? Right? And interesting that he wants to know about the remote control of the crusher and where it was.
Quite interesting. But I just find it, he stuck to his guns, said I gave you my statement. He already talked to O'Neill twice.
Yep.
Yes.
And as soon as they
It's-
started getting hostile with him and weren't buying his story, as soon as he knew it, he's like, I'm done. We're done. This is it.
But I just wanted to just quickly say, Millbilly and guys, the contrast between Chuck and Stephen Avery, and also Brendan Dassey. Stephen Avery and Brendan were willing to talk at length. Chuck was very short, sharp, to the point. And when it got hostile, he said, that's it, I'm done.
I think he's appropriately suspicious of law enforcement. When you see Chuck in making a murder, he's telling people to get off his property, kind of a private person, and very, very appropriately suspicious of law enforcement. I would say,
Yes.
with regard to Chuck.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't talk to him. So another comment that I would make is that the taillight story and the headlight story, they hold a lot of credibility because they've been around since the beginning. Right? There's it's not something that somebody remembered, weeks or months after the event, and trying to desperately pop up with some type of cockamamie story. They were saying this, in Crivets. Brendan confirmed it. The fact that Chuck made the call. These are real stories. This happened. If you own a place like a salvage yard, I can see, people trying to sneak in there, steal for parts. I can see, if I was the owner of such a place, how I might make it a point to peek in the backyard to see if something was up with anybody. Do I see flashlights or something like that? Because it's probably a long-standing problem. Maybe everybody can't get away with anything of that great a value, but get the heck off my property. He looks, he sees the light, he's like, oh, okay, he's triggered. He's call up. It happened. There's no doubt in my mind that those two things really happened. That they did see the headlights, that they did see the taillights, and the headlights for sure speak to something. Why were there headlights down by the crusher? Down right around the corner from where the RAV was. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And Stephen Avery had mentioned the fact that they had trouble with intruders coming from the quarry area to steal car parts, and they had to call the police. So it was a known area that was open where people could come in. And it's a very interesting observation because when Chuck called his brother, Stephen, I think it was about 7:25, that's when Ryan Hilligus, remember, had those 22 had 22 drop phone calls. And timing wise, that's pretty remarkable, right? It's within a few minutes of Chuck's observation.
Yep.
Yeah, and and as Big Jeff just said, where Chuck saw the tail lights is exactly where you would turn off to place the vehicle, the RAV4 where it was found. You just continue the road. You follow the road up from the crusher and you drop it there. But it's interesting that Chuck made the comment in his statement. He said that a tow truck would have trouble bringing the vehicle in that position, and that you would need like an end loader. So the other thing, of course, forget about having an end loader. How about just driving it straight in? Driving the car straight in and parking it.
Well, and that statement to me came off that Chuck doesn't even know where they found that RAV at.
Correct.
So he's thinking it's somewhere where the only way you can get a vehicle there is you got to use a front end loader, and yet, from all the pictures we see, you can pull right up and park right next to it. So.
But you'd have to drive in the way it was parked, because the opposite end, there is a metal pole and a bumper in the way. A golf cart could get through, but a car wouldn't. You'd run right into it.
Right.
But
so all those observations are consistent with the vehicle having been, with the RAV4, having been driven in
And they got
from that.
plaster casts of the tires coming in through the south end of the quarry.
Right.
Right where they tell Fassbender and Uyghur tell them, we know how the car got in.
Correct. Because that's exactly what they tell Stephen on the 9th. They tell him exactly how that vehicle came in.
Yep. But
Yeah, a little different than Brendan's quote unquote confession. Not one of my Chuck's. Yeah.
Correct. And it's interesting, Millbilly and guys, that remember this was the 6th of November when he was making those statements. And this is before, of course, anything was found in the RAV4 in terms of the blood. So I would say that O'Neill, Skalinsky was suspicious of all three of them, all three brothers.
Yep. Well, Earl's interview is next. Gonna be a doozy.
Oh, wow.
2 hours
Yeah.
long.
The good news is that the CASA report for Earl actually says that he didn't say anything.
Yes, we will go over that too. It's dated as happened the day it didn't. So, well, I'll thank you guys for